Peace, family. We back with another episode of the TrakWolf Godcast. I'm your boy TrakBeatz. We got a special guest up in the building with us. But before we tap in, you know what I'm saying, shout out Vinegar Hill, you know what I'm saying. They do a lot of dope work, you know what I'm saying, and they got a crazy history behind them, you know what I'm saying. But on a further note, you know what I'm saying, we about to tap in with our guest named Nichelle. We got back in the building with us again. It's good. It's good. So we've been talking a little bit about your project you've been working on. So you wanna?
Yeah. So I'm doing this project called the Gichi Marley Experience, but it's for real. What kind of like really got me into doing it for real is like when I first moved up here, I never knew I had a dialect. Or I mean, I don't know. I guess when I left home, like left out the state, I just had that mindset like everything is the same wherever you go. Until I moved here. Until I moved here, and like I feel like the background of where I come from and how I grew up, like I feel like being here for almost 6 years kind of like really molded me to be grateful for a lot of shit back home and the way that I was brought up in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So when I first moved up here, I always wanted to do a project to bring home and Charlottesville together. I wanted to do it through music, but I just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's what I remember at first, was trying to figure out how to collab it all together with the music.
But you know what's so crazy, like now how all this shit comes together, you know, some things, you can have a vision for some things and it just takes time for it to come together. So, I mean,
big facts.
Even though that was a vision, like almost 5 years ago, it's still like, it still is a vision. But it's in a different, like, perspective, because when like I said, when I first moved here, it was culture shocking. Like, people call this country, but
there's a lot of lists out here. A lot of lists out here.
A whole lot of ways. But I'm grateful for the experience though, because that's what really made me grateful for where I come from.
Yeah.
I also realized here too, like, if you're not from here, your reality is different from people who are from here.
Yes.
So
perspective as well.
Yeah, it's definitely like this place kind of taught me perspective, but I also kind of lost myself being here too, because once my accent was the #1 thing, like that's the first thing I got heavy hit with when I first moved here was my accent. Like people would ask me if I was Jamaican or like what island I would be from. And it was weird because some people back home, they experience it home, but I've never experienced it until I moved here.
Oh yeah. So
it was different.
Oh, nice.
Nah, like it felt weird because it was just like, I don't know. I just never knew I had a dialect.
Yeah. Like.
So I didn't know I had a sound.
I'm from New York, so I had that same problem when I moved down.
Okay, so you get it.
Yeah.
And that's just how it was here. I felt like everybody here had like a regular dialect.
You just had a little accent.
But I didn't think mine had an accent either. I thought I was sounding the same way, if you get what I'm saying.
Our pronunciation on certain words is
different. Until people started saying like, wait, what did you just say? Or can you repeat what you said? And that's when it started getting challenging for me, because I was like, okay, what the fuck?
What was some of the words that was hard for you?
Like,
or hard for
I wouldn't even say words.
Them?
I'd say dialect in general. Like, just saying things a certain way. Like, when I first came, I'm so fucking used to the way we talk here, like, and I said we, I meant to say people. See, but I'm so used to how it sounds here.
Y'all is not a word up there in New York.
It is down, it isn't.
It's yous and you too up there, you know what I'm saying? They don't say y'all up there.
It's the same
y'all
here,
down
but
here.
I also recognize too, a lot of people aren't from here either.
Yeah, everywhere, all over the world.
That too. But like, I feel like that's what the difference was. So like, it's not like I'm in a space where I'm just here with people who from here. I'm also here with people who ain't. So I had to like really like in my dialect way, like in the way I spoke, I spoke so fast that I didn't even realize like some words I wasn't saying fully, because in Gullah everything is kind of like chopped up.
It makes it easier to flow off the tongue.
Yeah. Versus me, like I don't think about it. But then being home, like I remember growing up I'll never forget this. This is something I always like go back to remind me. Because you don't realize, I did never realize this until I moved here. Growing up, I remember going to Charleston as a kid, and we would always tell the kids in Charleston and the people in Charleston that they was Gullah and they Geechee, and we were brought up like that wasn't a proper way of speaking. I wouldn't say brought up, but like
Ebonics kind of.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it wasn't a language that was really accepted. So even though people in our community, the black people, we speak like that, we knew when we got around white people, we had to like pronunciate
a little bit more.
Yeah, more. But me, I wasn't thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? Even when I left home, because when I graduated in 2010 and moved further down in the Low Country, it was the same thing. I mean, even though I was around white people, I was still around mostly black people. So it was like you don't really
think about it as
and
much.
then you don't have white people in South Carolina. Well, I've had people in South Carolina who from there say, in the Low Country, say that they've had people ask them in South Carolina where they from. But like me, I never experienced that until I moved here. So it's crazy how like my world has just been, I wouldn't even say blinded, but it's just like, it's so much is within that when I leave, like I expect for that shit, I just had the expectations, you know what I'm saying, and for me as a person. So when it came to the way I spoke, I didn't feel like I had to have certain expectations on how I spoke.
So how did that get you over to your project that you currently working on?
Turning a negative into a positive. I was like, niggas gonna tease me about how I talk? Well, I'll figure out something. And that's when I wanted to do a project. I wanted to do with music, but I didn't know how. Then I got into photography. Boom. I just started taking pictures because that's something that I always did anyway. But I got into it heavier when I was just like, I want to do a career joint for myself. You know? I can do music, but I want to do a career joint. And that's when I got into photography. Started doing great with that. And then I started doing protests. And then I was really out there practicing for real, but I didn't think like I really took good pictures like that. You know, you are your own worst critic.
Yeah, you are. I was about to say. Yeah.
I don't care how many pictures I take. Like, if that joint don't look a certain way, like, I'm not putting it out. So when I put out a lot of my work and saw that the attention that it got back from it, I was like, dang. So now I'm learning journalism. I'm learning like how I can share stories. Because of that, I'm in an exhibit. So it's like, I'm seeing all the opportunities last year that has been presented to me, and I'm thinking to myself. What kind of exhibit
was it to cut you off?
Oh, it was at 2nd Street Gallery. It was called Bearing Witness, where they got black photographers just to exhibit their photos of different documentations they did at protests.
Gotcha. That's nice.
And when I got selected for it, that's what I'm saying too. Like, if this is coming like this, and that's why this project came so easy, was like
the universe was already lining this up.
Especially when I went to Africa. But see, this happened before I went to Africa. I was still thinking like, how can I do? I was just over there like, yo, I felt like I was like still in the Low Country. You know, I feel like I could talk in my have a dialect and not be judged. And I just felt comfortable, like I was in a whole nother country, you know. To me, that's just how I felt like I was home, even though I wasn't home. If you get what I'm saying. And I'm raised on the water. And before even the exhibits happened, I sat in Africa, like on the beach one night too. One of the African guys that I met that was a real good spiritual guy on that trip. I told him, I was like, I really want to do a project where I can bring home and Africa together and show different cultures. And but still the similarities, the differences in them, but still the similarities in them.
Yeah.
And how we can embrace that. And I told him, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna figure it out. It'll come. I said it'll come to me. And I'll be damned after that exhibit shit happened. I was like, oh, it's here. It's time. I'm doing it. Life ain't gonna throw this shit at you and then be like, now I gave you something that you always wanted to do. So now what you gonna do?
What's the name of the project?
The Gichi Marley Experience.
Gichi Marley.
On Instagram too, Gichi Marley Experience.
Yeah, I had seen it up there earlier, and I was like, oh,
I'm not following you back. I'm gonna be honest, but I am gonna follow the Track God. I want to follow your podcast joint.
Yeah, you go. I wasn't tripping. I was just supporting. I think I followed you from my personal one, not from the Godcast.
I want to get the podcast. So
I was adding a number onto your joint. I was
like, it's cool.
Let me add a number on there for you. Yes, let's get it.
I wanted you to know that I saw that shit for real. But I want to follow your track I want to follow this right here is what I want to follow because I know you.
The Godcast.
You know, this is important. Like these platforms right here, I feel like it's also important, and why I feel like it's dope for us to be able to do it because it's not personal. It's more so. It's like you provide a platform to tell stories, and it's kind of like what I'm doing too in a different way. So you know what I'm saying? Like I fuck with it.
Yeah, the Gichi is gonna be crazy.
I want you to be a part of this shit too, for real. Definitely the podcast.
Yeah, you know, I definitely support. I say it on here all the time, but if anybody knows me, I organically support behind these goddamn cameras too.
I can attest to that too. Like I'm not just because I personally know you, but like I see that shit.
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, that's kind of like basically why you do what you do is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
That's crazy.
And it's organic, you know?
You see how
it's all from a vision, you know? A vision of like, I'm pretty sure this was a vision.
Yeah, it was, because I definitely started trying this out like 2 years ago with my man Dirk. You know, just business-wise it wasn't working out, but that's how the Trak and the Wolf came together. I was the TrakBeatz, and then he was the Wolf, you know? We did a collab mixtape and everything, but you know, it's tricky doing business with peers, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful of that shit at all times, you know what I'm saying? No love lost, you know, it's just, you know, people don't act accordingly. You have to have boundaries, you gotta be ready to stand firm, you have to keep moving and progressing, you know what I'm saying?
I know that well.
Yeah, and I think that, and it's crazy we talking about that because that's a hard part of business as well. How many of us try to do business with peers?
And I also feel like, too, a lot of people, I don't know, I guess.
Now say it freely. You good over here. We
different, you know, especially when you have that barter mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it's different. You know, what business is becomes challenging because now, you know, people don't really know what business really is.
Yeah, and timing and being cordial and being respectable and responsible. You know, it's a lot of things that go on the table with that shit. But the thing is, we could say it is, but if you put all that shit on yourself and you carry it that way with yourself, then that shit ain't nothing to other people. That shit will just float organically like it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, a lot of things happen in my life just from being organic.
Yeah.
For real. I'm just being real, like.
And since I met you, you done had big ones, and right before I met you had the big one.
A lot of things have really, and it's not something that I talk about a lot, because you know people that say things like, "Oh, you boasting," but it's like, no, like I have to accept the fact that that's just what it is. It's true. A lot of things that I've done have happened organically. Things that I didn't even think that I could be able to do.
And I can vouch, and I'm right there in that boat with you. Like,
same with you.
I was on probation taking somebody to court. Like, like it ain't nothing about to hold this up. Like, it don't matter what I set my mind to, my spirit, whatever I focus my energy on. If I focus my energy there,
it'd be that behind the scenes shit people don't really.
Yeah, it do. It's a lot of footwork in there. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of footwork.
A whole lot. And that's how this project came, you know? Organic.
Yeah, because I know you got some obstacles in the way of that still, too.
Yeah,
but I know
I'm
we was
good
kind
now.
of talking
yeah,
about
but I'm good now.
Yeah.
I'm good now. I'm straight. I'm back.
Yes. Peace and love. Peace and love. I love to hear that shit.
I'm back. You know, sometimes, you know, you got to... I mean, I know myself. I'm a water sign. I'm an emotional person.
I love
like,
that.
I take a lot of things personal just because... That's just I'm an emotional person, but then like at the end of the day, like once I shake that shit off, I'm like I'm back.
That was an organic shake off. I felt that in my spirit. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I saw you the other day. We were just talking the other day, like, and then you like, nah, nigga.
I think it's just
good.
And then being able to come to a light like you that's just gonna keep it like I know how you are. And it's gonna stand on what the fuck you believe, and it's just like having that energy though, just to remind you like, yo,
stand on yours,
Don't let nobody. That's how they do it. That's what they want you to feel that way, and it's like hearing that shit. It's like, man, fuck y'all, you know. So taking that and you know, that's just me. But I'm glad that as an individual, I'm aware of myself. Like I know how I am, especially when it comes to my emotions, because I care a lot.
What happened was they punched you. You was like,
yeah, and that shit hurt.
and they hit you, I was like, why wasn't you ready for the punch?
You
He
know,
was like, oh, because I got a big heart. I know, and you got a nice stomach that they're gonna punch you in.
Exactly. But nigga, that shit hurt for a little bit, but it don't hurt no more. Yeah. You know, it hurt for a minute. But I'm back. And it was only for a matter of hours, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was like, oh, you punched me.
I'm that type of nigga.
I was reaching for a hug, and you punched me and caught me off guard. Now I know to come a little bit more prepared this time.
And two, I wasn't even trying to. I don't know. I don't know if it was even like.
Yeah, you was like, love me, love me.
I got this great project.
Like, support me. That's love me.
No, it was more so. I felt like, look, I'm telling you niggas, this is what I want from you, and this is what y'all gonna do. But then when them niggas was like, it ain't working like that, I was like, okay, well, fuck you.
Hey, that's more direct. You and straight. Look, I want it my way. My
way, nigga. And then now you got me pissed off because it's like. My people want it the same way, you know what I'm saying? Now you pissing me off even more, because now you ain't just coming at me, you coming at my people. Yeah. So now, that's why I was just like, that shit hurt me to an extent. But I'm back. I'm back. It's just, it's just being able to
bounce back.
And then also, a water sign, like, I know I'm emotional and shit. Like,
I'm air sign.
I'm cool with air signs.
I know, that's why we do this.
I ain't gonna lie, they do bring balance. I'm not even gonna lie, because fire sign for me don't really bring nothing but boiling water. So it's not gonna work.
That was a great way of breaking it down.
Cause I can get hot too. Like that's the thing. Like I got a temper too. I'm emotional, but I got a temper too. So it's like
I got a whole shadow.
So when you said that day, I was just like, you know what? I'm in my little emotional shit right now. Like, shouldn't even be mad. Don't let these niggas get you, because this is what you got to do. Like, and that's when I was just like, oh, fuck.
That's why you wanted to create your project from the beginning.
And being organic, I love being organic. I love the fact that I get to meet, different people and hear different perspectives and just, learn different things. Because, like, whether people think I listen or not, like, I do.
People think you don't listen?
People think I don't listen, but I listen. They think even when I'm stoned out high, no, nigga, I hear you.
I never got that. Unless you in your phone doing something.
No, I be hearing.
So I never take that as that manner.
Yeah, people really don't think I be listening, but I do. I that's how I learn. That's how I grow. That's how I heal.
I can always tell by your responses. I guess because I deal with so many people who actually don't listen and don't give a fuck. So when you deal with so many people who don't give a fuck, and you deal with people who do give a fuck,
and
automatically by their responses that they listening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I be listening. People, even when people, even if I know a person know that I don't be listening, because they don't be hearing themselves. Because then they be like, "You're not paying me attention." No, I am. I heard exactly what you said, and then my response is not what you want to hear, because you want me to you want me to give you something that you want to hear.
That's the hard
and that's
part.
not how I'm receiving something that you're telling me. So it's not like to. And it's a healing thing, a trauma plays an affecting that in a lot of ways, because I'm guilty of used to, responding in ways like that too, because I really wasn't listening to myself. But now I am aware of myself, and I listen to myself, and if it don't feel right, I go with that shit. Like, I'm just so, I listen to me even when people think that I'm not listening. That's not like now when I respond, it's hard for me to have conversations with certain people, because it's just like I have to be like, okay, do you want me to just listen, or do you want me to listen and respond? You know what I'm saying? It's
that's
like when, even in my communicating, I gotta create boundaries, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? And a person take it, because I know I can be that way sometimes, and that's just like in communicating now. Like, even though I already know who I can talk to and be good.
Yeah.
But with people that I'm not comfortable being able to have conversations with like that, I always create a boundary.
Nah, boundaries are smart. I think we all should have them and create those and stand on them. So people already know when they come to me, it's going to be really straightforward, unfortunately.
Yeah, if I know I'm getting straightforward with you, I'm not even, that's why I'm comfortable, because I can just be straightforward. I don't have to.
And the good thing with that is the straightforward is with good intent. It's not with evil intent to hurt or abuse or to beat down or to belittle. It's with good intentions. Like, It's never for that. That's why if you run across somebody and you have a disagreement, it's not gonna feel like a fight because the intentions were never evil. You know what I'm saying? You'll feel the blood raising because that's what we do naturally.
And that's something that I had to learn.
And we all growing out of them spaces. That's on both spectrums. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm glad it's crazy because like what I'm really glad that life, when I first wanted to do the project, I was in no way prepared to do this shit.
You'd have been yelling and hollering at
Man,
everybody. The way you used to be on social media at first.
All for niggas like fight.
You wouldn't even went to the news network for that shit in the beginning. The way you used to be on that shit. You would have not went to them niggas.
They would have been like, nah. But I feel like, you know what? For real too. Like being here now and seeing that shit though, it's like a whole different perspective because it was like, damn, I really wasn't prepared for this shit until now. Life was really preparing me for this moment because I feel like the deeper I get into it, the more peaceful this shit with life becomes.
And I was just telling my BM this the other day because I think she was digging to try to see if something was going on with me. She always be trying to check my temperature. Bitch, I'm cooling. So the fuck you can figure out? I'm cooling. My shit is always cool. Like, what temperature? Room temperature. Yeah, I'm alright. I'm alright over here. Yeah, don't check my temperature.
I'm cool right now.
Yeah, I'm always at peace. Even when I got shit going on, like I was trying to figure out some shit earlier today, and I was like, nah, these are some different attacks because I removed the physical, the beings, those vessels out the way. So now I know these attacks is trying to come through other means. You know what I'm saying? So
you look at it in a bigger way.
Yeah, I don't look at no, this is an attack. I understand y'all making this way more difficult than what it needs to be. Whatever I'm trying to figure out to do, whether it's the program being difficult and not exporting properly or just being a fucking bitch in the way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or whether it's me trying to figure out some other shit I gotta figure out, like some shit for the system, like some bills or some shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I have to take that flow as that way. I just know how that shit flows. But on that note, we're gonna cut to this break and we're gonna slide back to y'all. Peace family. So we back from the break, you know what I'm saying? So what we about to get into now is I wanna ask Nay, through your walks of life, how do you distinguish who's on your team and who's not on your team?
Honestly, if you want me to give you an authentic answer on that,
yeah, that's what we do here.
I do it in the nature of healing because I always try to like remember that, okay, I once thought away. So it's like I guess through the whole learning and unlearning shit, kind of like, I don't know, like I was saying earlier, how I had that mentality, like if it's within.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like how I was raised was on the intentions. I don't feel like the intentions were bad, but like, I feel like in some way it's traumatic because of the black experience, you know, in black families. I think another thing too is distinguishing that is like energy, who I'm comfortable around now. Like how you were saying, like during the break, how you just made the comment and said how you said you, when it comes to people and you see how I say, you know, I just cut people off, you know, if the energy around, I just cut them off, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Like I used to be a person where I'd be like, nah, I can't handle you. But now, it's not about, it's not a handling, because you see some people and it's just like, you could just see them clear as day, and it's like, it's hard for me to, I feel like, be around anything that's not organic. Because I feel like anything that's organic and that makes me comfortable to have a conversation, to learn with you, to understand what team you on, what side you on.
Yeah.
I gotta first be able comfortable around you.
Yeah.
If I'm not.
So is that like a long process for you? Or is that like when you first meet somebody, you kind of like you can kind of.
Well, you know me. I try to. Well, because I have pure intentions. I don't say I give people the benefit of the doubt, but if I first meet you, I do to an extent.
Yeah, I feel you.
But I'm gonna watch you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna pay attention to you. I'm gonna learn you, and then I'll find out. Once I find out my place with you is when I find where I'm comfortable with you. Now there are some times where I can like deal with people and know they fucked up, and I just bite my tongue. But I'm in a place in my life, like I've done that shit so much in my life. I'm tired of if I can't, no.
Did you bite your tongue because you wanted to hold on to that relationship?
No, I bite on my tongue because I bite my tongue when it comes to anything in any type of when it's time for me to like say something now. It's like you done got me to that point. You feel me?
You gotta be pushed.
Yeah, you done got me to that point. At this point.
Duck all the sides and then wait till you get pushed all the way to the back.
And then I'm like, okay, because it's like I tried to, give you the bit. I work with you as much as I can. No, you gotta go. Where versus now is just like, nah, signs, I'm good.
So you kind of do.
So I still do because I just feel like in nature how I was raised. Like, my grandma is like a warrior to me. And she has this mentality like she gonna help as much people as she can.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Peace and love, grandma.
You know what I'm saying? Grandma will lose sleep. Like, she would lose sleep at night trying to figure out how to help somebody. She's that type of person. So when you raised like that, it's hard to kind of fill them shoes sometimes because it just be like, I just feel like, oh my God, like, I feel like I care too much about a person who just does not care about themselves, and it's like I question myself, like, why? Then I internalize, like. But now I'm at a space where I'm just like, okay, I can do what grandma do, it's just at a distance, Like, I'll tolerate people, but it'll be from like a distance. Like, I love you.
Spiritual distance or a physical distance?
Spiritual, both. I just need space,
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that.
I just need space because it becomes a mental health thing. Now I'm trying to be protective of. Now I'm protecting me. You feel me? Like
she call it
you never
mental
know.
health. I call it protecting your motherfucking energy. You are protecting your motherfucking spirit, your vibes. You gotta protect it by any means necessary.
I'm glad I'm in that place though now because like I feel like I've lost so much learning myself. Doing things like that, not being aware or not giving myself a chance to trust myself, and I feel like that too comes with trauma, not being always wanting to do things that you stood on and want to do from the kindness of your heart. And it's like I've always been like raised to help people. That's why with this project it was like I've been in Virginia for almost 6 years and now I'm currently transitioning into wanting to go out into a bigger world. I'm prepared for that now.
What's crazy is I'm right there with you. I'm 6 years into my journey.
I'm
right there with you. That is crazy. You just said
I am literally prepared. Like I'm so prepared for this shit.
Yo, that is crazy and amazing.
And I'm thankful. Like a lot of people will look at it. Like I remember at one point there was a reason that I would rather die than be a slave on this plantation. I would rather have killed myself, and I don't like I don't like these feelings. I'm so empathetic. Like I don't like when I can't help people. Yeah. I hate that shit. Like that shit bothers me when I cannot help a person. And I think
the system knows that, so it kind of fucks us up because it kind of forces you to focus more on yourself in a selfish manner because we have to like maintain a way of living out here still too that doesn't have to do with helping people. You know what I'm saying?
Right, when we say system, I feel like a lot of times when people say system, they just look at certain systems and it's like, nah.
It's one.
It's one.
Big ass system.
It's one.
Yeah.
It's one system. It's just like...
If you ain't with the universe, you with the system.
It's really like kind of like one system in that aspect. So when you have the system built a certain way, you're right. This is what we allow ourselves to be conformed to at this point because we don't have to live to that. So that's not an original system, We didn't
have the tools given to us as well, and we didn't know how to find the tools. But a lot of us start finding the tools our goddamn self.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's in Gullah culture. That's something like in with Gullah culture. What I've I'm learning, like, how these people were just like, okay, well, you know, we can just build our own system, you know, our own language, our own education system, and they did it, you know what I'm saying? But now, why is it so hard to keep it? And that's the thing, like, I feel like I always hear older Gullah people now, like, when I be talking to so much people back home, like, doing this research has been so much fun, bro, because it gives you, like, it gives you something to really live for. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
it gives you
excited
something
to
to
see the
live for,
project
man.
and to see how close all of this is.
It do give you something to live for, because even though this is my story and I'm allowing the culture to tell it for me, it's still like hearing different people and their stories and learning about Gullah people and how the diversity within the culture is with different regions in the corridor. Is just like, it makes you just, yeah, we different and we are a culture, but we're still different in a way, but our systems are the same. Like, oh my God, they don't have, Gullah people do not have that mentality of expecting someone to give them what they feel like they need because they can do it themselves.
Yeah, we should.
We can do this ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
And that, having that mentality, is that perspective is different. Like, even though I'm just 29, yo, to this day I remember my great uncle growing tobacco. You know what I'm saying? On family land. And that's something that has literally in my family been passed
is the land
down.
Still around?
Yeah. It's family land. And then when you see that from that perspective, doing this research, it makes you, it's different. That's why I'm saying, like, gosh, I appreciate, I'm not saying like home is something to me, because the land, the years of family that have been on that land, working on that land, making profit off of that land, feeding the community with that land, you know what I'm saying, taking care of each other with that land, that is that land, that's sacred to me. And I feel like because of gentrification and all of these systems,
yeah,
they put us in position where they already know, like, it's like, yeah, y'all good, but we gonna make it harder for y'all. Why do y'all always do that? Because y'all don't have to do that. It's greed to me, you know?
They do have to.
Well, yeah, according to their system, they had to. But then, like, that's why I love the fact with Gullah people, they feel like we do for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. And I feel like doing this, it's not just educating people like you, but my own culture of who we are. I want them to be able to see the differences in themselves, so we can, like, the nation just got a flag, bro, and that's big.
And for the people that don't want to learn or haven't been learning, that could spark them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just kind of
For
seeing
real.
that cultural vibe difference so close.
And documenting it is
and
also
being in
important.
the States, because we don't have a lot of history in the States on documents that they give us or that they showed us or told us. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why
Very
I also feel like me being able to take everything I've learned in the past almost 6 years being here, things that I've been through, the healing, the spaces, the intentions, and just seeing like everything is intentions, and it's like, what do you want to do? And it's like, dang, I'm not a millionaire, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't give millions of dollars and no shit, but I feel like bringing my culture together in unity on a platform and showing just not just other people but the culture itself how unique we really are. I feel like we lose ourselves a lot because of these systems, you know? And that's how I felt when I came to Charlottesville. Like, I felt like I lost myself. I was like, yo, why? When I would go home, people would be like, you talking all proper. I'd be like, oh my God.
They be like, you know sound country as a motherfucker every time.
You sound different when I go. And then it takes me a minute because I do code switch a lot. And it's because I'm just, to me, it's something like, yeah, it's bilingual at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's bilingual. Because I refuse to, if I'm not around my people, I'm not talking like that. I'm not. I'm just not. And the people in the culture are comfortable doing it, but me, heck no. Because of my experience, it's just like, I feel like that's why I'm happy that I'm doing this project. So it's a healing thing. You know, like, I'm not going to say that just the way that I spoke kind of, you know, hurt me a lot, that made me stand out, that I wasn't from here. My video also made me stand out too. You know, because that was organic. That was from a Gullah person perspective. I've been doing that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been making videos, been being creative with it. It just so happened now in a different area, in a different location. But now you definitely gonna stand out. And like now I see like my purpose. I went through. I've seen the different stages of Charlottesville. I've learned the truth about a lot of like systems and how things are set up.
Yeah.
And I'm also doing spiritual work. In the process of doing all of these things, that also puts you in a different light. And then now you seeing like, okay, all right, what can we do? What can I do with my purpose now in this type of world? It's the intentions, you know. People don't have good intent behind things they do, and
the
you can
intentions
feel
behind that for me is like one of the healthiest paths you can take. You know what I'm saying? Like,
intentions. You have to like.
Well, intentions behind the spiritual path. It's
Facts.
Like what you're saying, I was putting them together. Like that's one of the healthiest paths you can take.
Yeah.
You know
I would recommend that path to anybody, and I'm glad. Like I really kind of like. I went through those stages of emotions, you know, like grief, anger, all of that. But then you get to a space where you now like, yeah, those things still exist. They still there. Yeah. But they feel different. You know?
Yeah.
They just feel different now.
Yeah,
so you find when you find your purpose, you can walk in your light like you need to.
You attach a different feeling to it. So that's what I had to do going through my process, and what I tell people too as well. You know what I'm saying? If you have triggers or stuff that you haven't dealt with, or you need to face, or you got to manage and deal with, you know, you have to attach a different emotion to it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, a big one for me was dealing with my sperm donor. You know, once I finally saw him again and we had our exchange or whatever, I was able to change how I looked at him and attach a different feeling. So now that shit isn't a trigger for me anymore. You know what I'm saying? That was like a childhood thing that kind of traveled with me, but I was able to kind of resolve it once I was like 29, 30, and was able to address it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was able to attach a different emotion to it, a different feeling to it, you know?
I feel like that's how it be with my mom too. Like, when people will be like, you know, just talk to her, and I'd be like, I've done that so long, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been being a bigger person. Like, it becomes intentions now. Like,
yeah.
I feel like if I'm doing it with pure intent. I don't know how she coming. But if I was in the space that I was 6 years ago,
you'd have snapped.
I probably, if my mom came to me, I probably would have snapped. But if she did now, if she was to come to me, have a conversation, oh yeah, I'm not gonna be biased behind it. I can't, because if I have held myself accountable for things that are not my fault, I feel like closure is a setup.
I will. You come to me with some shit and I haven't talked to you in a while, I'm listening attentively.
Well, yeah, I'm listening.
Hear your motherfucking intentions.
Because I want to know your intentions. I feel like,
yeah,
but I feel like that's natural too, you know. But I feel like I wouldn't be as hard.
Nah, I'm a warrior. I'm ready to chop shit down. I feel you though.
As I would if I was, because I feel like I would.
Long as she didn't hit no triggers.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it in a way like I'm glad I can do it in a way where I'm not triggered, because now I can call out, I can identify things now. So I get it. I feel like I would be able to have a different, that would decide what kind of attachment.
When was the last time you've been in a space with her when you?
I have not seen my mom or talked to my mom in almost 5 years, bruh. And for real, like,
hey, that's good shit. I'm at like 2 months. I'm working on it. Like, I'm working on it.
I never had nobody do that for me.
I had to cut my mom off, man. Y'all gotta do this shit, man.
Damn.
Y'all gotta start supporting people, man.
Wow.
That toxic shit is not welcome nowhere.
Wow.
Nowhere. That shit ain't welcome nowhere. Fuck all that family shit. If you toxic and you ain't working on yourself, then you gotta kick rocks and go to the other side.
Right, because I feel like I'm an adult now, and I have to do it because I'm an adult. I hold you to them same standards. Like, I'm not gonna treat you no differently because I'm not gonna put an attachment of a relationship. It's just moral.
Envy is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You got parents that's envious of their kids. I know my mom ain't never want to see me excel past a certain level, so she would do things or say certain things that I would kind of self-sabotage myself, or she would instill some certain other kind of weird thought process in there. I would do some. I know how that shit go. You know what I'm saying? But I don't support that shit.
Yeah, but as a person like who like hearing you say that, it's like kind of description of my reality. So it's assuring and confirming to like have somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've never had a conversation about your mom like that. But for you to describe that type of person, it's like, okay, you get it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. I'm like, I'm going to push this and see how long it takes.
And, like, to me, for real, people will be like...
That's physical time. Spiritual time, that shit is longer.
And for real, people will to this day be like, what if something happens? Okay, what can I do? I did my part in this world existing. I did, and I'm freely doing things in a healthy state of my life that I want to do with nobody bringing me down, nobody trying to stop me from doing it or talking me out of doing it. I'm, making my decisions and my choices all on my own. So now at this point, I'm just like, I'm good. I'm in a free space. Like, I'm not shackled to those, and nobody. It's like a chain.
Yeah. And on that note, we're going to cut to this break and we're going to slide back into that subject. Peace, family. So we back from the break. As you can see, what we do over here is we project such organic energy with great intentions that is constant forces fighting us, Nothing was wrong for the lights to turn out, but that shit fucking happened, you know what I'm saying, like from the subject, but shit is mind blowing. But we don't get mad at these kind of things because we already know it's an attack. You're not gonna get us that way. We still gonna get that shit be normal. We still gonna get right back to it. The motherfuckers still ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna feel it in my heart till they make my heart feel differently. Cause I mean, I appreciate you for like supporting that though, and I'm glad to see more. I feel more like it's assuring to me to see more people who are comfortable with choosing that path instead, because in a lot of ways it do help you more than it hurt you. Because sometimes having people in your life hurt you more than it really help you. Because you gotta treat people when it comes as it will come to yourself, and like how you love yourself, and know everybody is not like you. That's why you get to choose who you comfortable being around. Yeah. And my mom is not one of those people.
Yeah, mine either. It's always weird.
I can have a conversation with her, but it's like I'll listen to her, but if the intentions aren't pure, I'm gonna feel it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I know she will never come to me, because it's just I'm coming with the pressure. She know that I'm coming with the pressure.
Yeah, my mom know. You gonna have to motherfucking look at yourself if you talking to me.
Because I'm not getting closure, I ain't expecting it. That's why I said I feel like closure is a setup to an extent for some people, because I stopped trying to find closure in that situation.
What happened is you created closure. We have to stop using the westernized closure. We create our own motherfucking closure. When you dealing with narcissistic ass people, or just evil people, or bad people, I don't give a fuck how you want to word it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to create the closure yourself. I've never been in a situation with someone like that and it was mutual closure. Now, I done been in relationships with partners growing up where it was mutual closure. Hey, motherfucker, I don't want to do this no more. Damn, you sure? Damn, alright, cool. We separate, you know what I'm saying? But when you dealing with that weird shit, it's never no closure. It's going to keep being weirdness, and then it's going to be a distance in space, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. That voidance. You're going to have to keep dealing with that shit.
And it becomes toxic and chaotic. And because my life been so much more peaceful when it comes to...
Yeah, you notice chaos as soon as it come near you.
Yeah, I'm aware. When something don't feel right, I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
People, if you haven't...
Flag on the plate.
Yeah, if you haven't experienced peace, then you really wouldn't know what peace feels like. But once you do, as soon as something chaotic comes near you, you know automatically.
Oh, yeah, you know.
But we still sometimes have our own hard time since we are still growing. Yeah. Managing the ones that we already established, some kind of ship with, Not just say ship, because it don't have to be a fucking big ass ship. People always think all or nothing. I'm like, yo, that's them evil people. Y'all always thinking all or nothing. You ready to kill or you ready to pretend like you love? Like,
yeah.
But that's a tough one. That was a tough one. But that is something that needs to be addressed though. I know people don't like addressing these kind of things, but that's always something that I'm going to touch on, is the rough stuff, you know, especially because I'm willing to put myself through it too. I would never tell nobody to do something that I wouldn't do, you know, or give advice or some shit
especially
like that.
when from an experience, but especially if you're genuinely trying to grow and heal, you realize like these are things you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to do that. That's what I'm saying. Everybody always saying like healing is not just like they think it's popcorn. No,
yeah,
you gotta
they think it's just
layers.
putting on candles and doing therapy and all of this shit. Yeah, you can work the outside. Yeah, but you gotta do that work.
You gotta do the layers, and I feel like that was a part of my healing. I had to. I had to let go. That's something I had to learn to live with.
So how was it for you the first time you like started like having to sit, or you found yourself sitting?
It was hard
in your own space, not like, you know, having people you could reach out to, but not really feeling like reaching out, just kind of like sitting there, not really doing social media. It
was hard. Like, I feel like right after our whole situation went down, like after that, like I feel like that's the darkest place I've
ever fucking been again. And we're gonna be right back. Peace, fam. So we back. We had a small interruption again. These forces out here really working. Like, this is the first time this shit has ever happened. Everything is plugged in where it's normally plugged in at, but everything is rearranged now. So that entity will not be attacking us through that same method again. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That joint was real though. Like, people, I was like, kind of hit me like, do we have the same mom? Like,
yeah, them motherfucking forces is strong.
When I said that I had gotten to, when my mom first did it and I had got to my darkest, like that joint was crazy how the lights went out, because
it got dark.
That's exactly how quick it happened. It went just that quick. Like, things just became dark, and you know, when you look at it in a form, like, that's why I'm grateful for my progress and my journey, for the simple fact that, like, even though, like, so much of that played an effect on me losing myself too, because I just moved here. People are already teasing me because I talk, you know, I'm different, plus my video going viral. Like,
I feel like we've done this before. I'm having some weird.
No, for real. Like, that joint was crazy, and to experience like what that experience I had with her, it was like, for me, I feel like, to me, actions say a lot. Like, I go off of actions. And when I saw that her intent behind her actions were real, that was the line for me. I was like, that's consciously aware of what you are doing.
Yeah.
You know, and once I realized that, and that's how I know that you can't. There's no love here.
When my mom asked me why I keep bringing up the high school, why she ain't never come to my games, I knew it was no remorse there.
It's like the accountability, like, just hold yourself accountable, like, no matter what it is. Just, and me getting into at first, I'm glad that I went into a dark space quick, because it was like, looking back now where I am and where I come from, I really wasn't in a space where I was built to deal with that, because I'm like, dang, like, my video going viral, like, so much is going on. I just moved up here. It was just so much I had to, like, figure out. And that's why I've always known myself to be resilient, but I don't like to categorize myself like that. I just categorize myself, I don't even call it strength. I just call it, like, being brave. You know, and a lot of things I do now, it's just being brave, you know, like, because I could have just went back home for real. You know what I'm saying? But I was brave enough to stay almost 6 hours away from my family and figure it out. That was bravery, because I was so afraid. Like, I'm like, I don't have no family up here, bro. Like, I don't have anybody, but I have this going on. I already have a job. Like, I don't want to struggle to find another one.
Yeah.
So when you looking at somebody's actions and the things that you now got to go through and figure out, it's like, okay, I got to do this on my own. and I did everything on my own the best way that I could. I mean, it was dark. It was very dark. It took a lot to get to the light because I feel like a lot of people weren't supporting my decisions and not wanting that space. I would tell people, I can't be around my mom. Like, it's hard. Like, even if she was to come have a conversation, like, I'd hear her out, even if her intentions were pure. But it's the impact. You can't get back them years, man. That's like being in prison.
You can't get them
back. It's like
back,
being in prison.
But you can't get them back. But
I
feel like if you tried and put a lot of energy with real great intentions behind it, that is doable. Not like to make it up, but because I don't look and live and rewind unless I'm reflecting. But to like, you're still here. You know what I'm saying? You still here. So it's like, no, you can't make up for that, but you can put the best energy you possibly can put out now. It's not a competition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
it's so hard when it's
a lot of people think that
when you deal with an envious person too.
A lot of people think that, oh, it's your mom, you only get one. What does that mean? I don't understand. What does that mean? What does that really mean?
I've actually got a lot of mothers, man.
What is it?
Be real, like I've had a lot of mothers. I got a lot of mamas in a lot of ways.
What does that really mean?
Right. That's why it do make you look at that. Like, what does that really mean?
What the fuck does that really mean? Oh, you came through her. Okay, great. I used her pussy. Great. I didn't ask, so maybe I did in the spirit well. But if I did, I'll fuck that joint up on the way in. This motherfucker. I'm here now, motherfucker. Put that pussy back together. I'm here. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. I just need you to do these things so I can get the fuck up out of here. Leave me the fuck alone. Oh, you only get one. So I'm supposed to just get tortured the rest of my life because I only get one, right? That's what I should do.
You know what? What's crazy that you just said that? I remember I was going through a very challenging stage a couple of months ago. Beginning of this year, matter of fact. And my cousin said to me in a message, she was like, I know you've never experienced childbirth, but think of your healing and your growth and when I thought about that shit, I was like, damn, like that shit made me so comfortable not talking to my mama because that's how that shit felt. That's how painful that like life. Yeah. Knowing that, you know, when I really truly believe once a person show you who they really are in the form of love, like I just could never. I just put myself. I love kids, man.
I couldn't see it in my mom either.
I love kids. I just could never see me, like, especially how I am with Stokely. Like, I couldn't see me waking up Stokely at 2 o'clock in the morning and tell her she got to get out of my crib.
My mom's favorite thing was, wait till you get older. You're going to see. Wait till you have kids. You'll see. And the fucked up thing is, when I had my daughter, I saw that you did a lot of fuck shit. 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 I mean, you did a lot of fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to even try to think of one time that I spent with my mom, just me and my mom, like just where I got to spend just one-on-one time with her. You know, like I don't even know what that feels like. You know, like, actually, she gave me calls and visits when I was locked, and that still came with like a stipulation. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to be a good listener and be cordial and shit. Like,
and it's like even when you try to, I think about like how you say spend time. Like I don't even really know a time that I actually got to spend with my mom and literally have like a real like just adult conversation with, like when it comes to feelings without it being. It's like expressing myself. Like I feel like when people, I don't know, it's just hard to try to like put it into words sometimes because like. I don't know, I guess I just expected so much more out of my mom than I knew I should. It should be, these things should be expected. You know, it's not like she didn't show me all my life. I feel like with that though, I always would say like my mom ain't really did nothing for me, and it's for real, she really hasn't, but I feel like I get it now that I'm in a better space with the situation. And I've always tried to realize like she ain't no perfect human, and her healing is her healing, and whatever she went through, and that ain't got nothing to do with me. She responsible for it at this point. So I feel like that's why having a relationship with her is not really like I can't, if you battling your demons, you're gonna harm me.
And the crazy thing with that is, like, hearing you say that, like, I can compare that to mine and be like, well, I got a chance to talk with my mom when I was in my growing process. You know what I'm saying? I was there to be able to drop a lot of the tools and tactics that I used to help me, you know what I'm saying, get to a better space. And it's like, you don't want to take any of these tools that I'm using, but you still want to keep giving me these weird, ill intention feelings. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, once I got to that space and realized, like, you're not going out your way to see your grandbaby and I live right around the corner from you. I'm going out my way to see you. Like, you don't give a fuck. You don't care. I know you didn't give a fuck about me, but now you showing you don't give a fuck about the next generation either. So you know what? I'm going to just say, you go live that shit over there.
And I'll live over here.
I'll live my shit over here.
Yeah,
you know
and that's just how it is. That's why I always support people who are trying to heal from their parents' trauma that is not their responsibility. Because they, like how you just even use your own child as an example. You refuse to have that energy around her, and that's breaking a cycle.
Yeah.
That's what breaking cycle, because you love your daughter.
Yeah.
So because you love your daughter, guess what? You got to do the same thing. You have to protect that, and that's why I feel like my mom is not in a space where she sees it like that. And because I recognize that,
my sister had one, was the first one way before I even got to mine. So, but in my world, I'm thinking she's using that my sister's in New York as an excuse. Even though that's your daughter, you should still go the fuck up there. She shouldn't be up there. She should be down here. But it was like a lot of excuses. But then there was no more excuses once I became aware. That's why they say ignorance is bliss. Once you become aware and then you don't do nothing about it, now you the dummy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm too organic for that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just allow my mom to keep forcing this shit because my parents keep saying, you should have her, and you like this, you only get one. Okay, well, is she working on herself? No.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could do. Sorry.
Yeah.
Peace and love over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, for real though, like it be like that, like it be like that. I understand. Like,
I have to teach this shit to my daughter because she's gonna run into it and running into it already right now. And when with her mom, so I don't want to be that person to be like, oh nah, everything you feeling over there is real. Like if my daughter is experiencing the same weird feeling I felt with my mom, I'm going to reassure her that shit is real.
Yes, of course, I'm going to validate that.
That shit is real.
It's real.
That shit is real. Your feelings are real. What they doing is not right.
It's not right. I stand by you, my kid.
I don't know.
I'm going to stand by my kid on that. I'm going to validate my child, let them know.
I don't have no choice.
Believe me, I know.
I experienced it. Some people I don't want to tell my other people, I don't want to talk bad about it. I don't give a fuck. If you doing fuck shit, I'm going to let it be known. Don't do fuck shit and then I won't have nothing to say. I guarantee that. Oh no, dude, she's amazing. Yes. She plays tennis. Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. But I mean, people don't like to have these conversations. I feel like in that part of my journey too was hard because I feel like 95% of the people was really trying to be like, you know, you only get one. I was hearing those same things, and I'm thinking to myself like, I feel like my grandmother did it too. You should talk to your mother, Christopher. Yeah, my grandma did too.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, did she tell you the whole story? Oh, she did. She tell you the fucked up side. Sorry.
My grandma did too.
Then she don't even want to hear my side. I'm like, well, damn, grandma, I love you.
Well, my grandma knew, you know, the truth. But it was just like, my grandma just had that heart, you know. And then I feel like now though, grandma just be like, you know what? Oh. You know, to the point to where now, like, I remember I told her one day, I was like, I'll never remember saying this to my grandma a couple of weeks ago. I was like, about a month ago now, I was like, Grandma, I just feel like my parents. Like, I have no real relationship with my parents. Like, when I see other people and their parents, I just be like, gosh, like, I wish I can go to my mom or my dad and have these you know,
it's like another word for envy, but it's not a toxic word, but we don't have a word for it.
We don't have a word for it.
What's the word for it? Because my sperm donor said he wanted to Marvin Gaye me. You know, what happened? His daddy killed him, so they say. So apparently, you know, I was on the to-do list. So I didn't feel safe anywhere. You know, like it didn't matter where the fuck. You want to go to these stage dance? No, I don't want to go. That nigga be whipping my ass like Kunta. No, no. Nigga be half dead. I can't sit on my butt cheek for like 2-3 days. I'm over on the couch trying to watch cartoons like this.
Dang.
Oh, nah. I make light of it, but that shit was real. I make light of it, but the shit was real. I really didn't feel safe.
You can laugh at it now, but like, it's when you heal, you know?
Yeah, I'm in a much better space.
When you're in a better space, you look back at the thing and you really, and sometimes I just think like, dang, like, why did I really allow people to really try to guilt trip me into talking to my mama?
Yeah.
Saying shit like,
people use sympathy as a weapon. Yes.
I mean, I get it, I know, but it's like, dang, I don't have no real relationship with my mama, so I don't have a real attachment to her.
Yeah.
There's really nothing there. Like, I can live without my mom. Who I can't live without is my grandmother, and I feel like that's the difference. Like I'll never forget my grandma telling me, you know, I told her I didn't feel like I had parents because I don't have a good relationship with my parents. And my grandma came back and was like, don't worry about it. I was both of your parents. So to have that assurance too, you know, my grandma goes from supporting me, having conversations, like, you know, to reassure me, like, okay, it's okay.
Your grandmother doesn't live with your mom?
No. So,
see, and that's where I have the trouble at, where I feel a little guilty because I want to see my grandma and I want to talk to my grandmother, but it's like she lives with my mom, so I have to go through her to get to her, and it's like my niece had came down and my mom got mad that my niece wanted to come stay the night with me before she went back up to New York. You know, like she just fucking don't want to be crammed up in the house the whole time. Over here she could chill, kick it, you know, so she be chilling, but my mom got mad that we didn't go through her, but it was nothing she could really say because my niece is like fucking 17, 18 now. It's like, what the fuck are you gonna tell her? Yeah, she came down to stay with you in the sea, but you just kind of manipulated the situation, and I didn't even know she was down here. She was like, damn, yeah, Uncle Chris, I thought you knew or something. Like Grandma said she reached out to you and said so. It was some kind of weird situation where it was manipulated and I didn't know, and I just happened to catch it at the tail end. Be mindful and don't let that shit slide. We gotta stop letting that shit slide. Like we were saying earlier, you gotta know who on your fucking team.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who pussy you came through, who ball sack you came out of. You gotta know who on your team. I don't give a fuck if they uncles, aunties, cousins, brothers, sisters. If motherfuckers ain't trying to get right, then you gonna have to create some space.
And how you allow them in your space.
Yeah.
That's when you have the power over your space.
Yep.
And I feel like that is the power in choosing not to have. Yeah, that's my only one. I get it. I'm good. But I had to do a whole lot of healing from that one that put me in a space where, like, because it's not just like, it's not just it's because of my mom. Like, I've healed. Like, she's been a big lesson in my life. I've always had a big heart when it came to her. I always gave her chances, and I feel like now, you know, it's always put me back, man. Like, for real, I feel like I could have been 10 steps ahead in my life right now. But that's why I said I'm thankful for my journey, and I'm thankful that it all happened the way that it did. I'm glad I'm just glad that right after it happened, I allowed myself to go to a dark place, because if I had waited, I wouldn't be prepared for right now. I would be so behind.
We mindful of our time.
Yeah, I would be so behind. So I'm glad I gave my time to go through that, and I did it on my time, how I wanted to, the way I chose to. And no, I didn't make great decisions in the process, but still, like, coming out of it, I acknowledge that, and I'm aware of that, because now I've experienced so much to where if a little kid come to me, I can validate their feelings, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have to have a little kid feeling like don't nobody understand them. Like, nah. Like how you said, you gonna validate your daughter's feelings. Yeah, I'm gonna do that for any kid because I feel like that's breaking the cycle. Now, even if it's not my child.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody kid to come to me and feel like their feelings not valid, and I know it is real, and just tell them it's like, okay, no, I'm gonna let them know like, hey, those are valid. It's okay to feel that way, but I want you to also know like it's valid. I felt that before.
Yeah.
Because when you don't get that assurance, it makes you feel like it's wrong. Like.
And that's the hardest part for me is teaching my daughter through that process, you know, because it's like...
And it can be challenging,
it's a push-pull, because it's like, I don't want to paint her as this bad person, but I want to reassure you on your feelings as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if that happens to paint her in the bad light, then oh well, she needs to change what the fuck she's doing. Simple process.
Facts. Kids are literally like kids. That's why I love kids. You know, kids always be real with me and their feelings, and I be feeling like, dang, you know, like, you right, you even though you're a kid, your feelings are valid. And I really never got that growing up. Like, so when kids come down,
I was
normally,
taught it was constructive criticism.
Yeah,
that was the word I used to be told behind shut the fuck up, or take it as constructive criticism.
But I really sit and think about
intentions behind it.
It'll bother me sometimes when kids say something and I'm like, dang, I don't want to make a kid feel that way. Like, how can I make this right? I'm always trying to figure out, like, how can we make it right? Like, what can I do? You know, and I've just used that mechanism. Like, I tell people, like, what really helped coach myself is finding that strength to be a parent to my inner child. And it's like, when you do that, like, because you still, it's like healing from your inner child follows you through your whole life. That's what I'm saying. Those feelings will always be there. It's just how you handle it and how it feels. So, like, with me, I just try to nurture my inner child as I would somebody else's child or a regular child. Because, like, sometimes I don't validate people that say things to me, and, like, or if I say something comes to my mom and people would say the things like, oh, that's your mom, you should do. I always feel like that feeling, when people would do that, it always made me question, like, dang, like, well, am I feeling even really valid? Because if I got to be the bigger person, I feel like I did something wrong, you know? And when I started feeling that way and I realized, like, dang, when it comes to my emotions.
Everybody give you the same perspective when they tell you you should, though? Do everybody have the same?
When they said I should do what?
Talk to your mom. Do they all give you the same perspective? Does it almost sound like a robotic
What if she
response?
die?
It's all the same robotic answers that they heard from somewhere else.
I mean, what can I do if she do? I mean, what can I do? You know what I'm saying?
Can you stop it?
No. What can I do?
Can you stop yourself from dying?
No.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's what I'm just like. When they started saying that those would be the thoughts in my head. Well, shit, what can I do? I ain't did nothing wrong.
What you could do is go talk to her, so that way when her body leaves, you won't feel like, oh, well, I wish I would have talked to her.
But I already have no attachment.
You ain't got no attachment. Or
no attachment.
Or if you're just spiritually aware, you already know you can communicate spiritually anyways. It's not going to fucking matter. It's not going to fucking matter. They're communicating spiritually now, even though they don't talk. Like,
even if
you can still spiritually communicate with her, and she's still telling you, oh, my intention's still not good, which is why you still feel this way, which is why I still feel this way.
And even when she not here, even in the after, even if something was to happen, I still can connect with her. I have the power of doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll still know what her intentions are.
Yeah.
But no matter if she here or not, I don't have that attachment. It's just, I hate when people put that's how I feel like, you know how, I'm not trying to disrespect nobody's religion, but I came up in a very Christian home.
We open over here.
Yeah. I came up in now I tell people this all the time. I do not identify with a religion. I don't identify with anything. I'm a freelancer, okay? So, but coming up in a very Christian home, it was always this thing where I never understood when it came to Christianity, like the thought process when it came to things like
she was confusing.
God said an eye for an eye, but Jesus said turn the left cheek. And then now we got people telling us, well, you got to listen to what Jesus said. But I'm thinking to myself, like, but ain't God his daddy? So how he got power over God? God said an eye for an eye, nigga. That's his daddy, and that's what I'm going to go by. You feel me? Like, simply for the fact because I know when it needs to be an eye for an eye, and I know when it doesn't. When it comes to my mom, it's not an eye for an eye thing. And I feel like when it comes to when I try to compare, a lot of people use religion in that to like try to make me guilt me, and would be like, well, you know, you only get one mama, and the Bible says your parent and honor that. I'm like,
well, honor, but they don't tell you how to honor thou. If somebody toxic and evil, why would you still honor thou?
I can't honor that.
That don't make sense.
I cannot honor that. So that kind of too, that's what kind of really made me get strong into like not just being organized with a group or a religion, and just going off spirit. You know, knowing right from wrong, knowing moral intentions as a person. I don't mean no harm when it comes to the world. So because I know that, and I know that's genuinely because like I've been so traumatized growing up, I really don't mean no harm to nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? I really don't mean no harm. My intentions, I can be a firecracker sometimes, or I can be a waterfall. I will cry. But at the same time, like, I feel like a lot of things in my life are deeply rooted in my relationship with my mom, and having to accept the fact that my grandmother was my mom. So now when I get that assurance from my grandma, like for her to be able to now, years later, in a space where she says, it's okay, you know, it's okay. I've been your parent. You gotta. It's assuring. Like, I know I got my grandma. So when you have these conversations with people and you talk to them, people think like, oh, like they can't heal that way. And healing is all what you put yourself into doing. You can deeply heal, or you can take your time and heal layer by layer until you get to deeper wounds. But when I recognize at a point to where it's like I gotta peel layers of this shit off, I'm just gonna peel. I don't got time to be going out. I gotta keep peeling. Like, I gotta keep going. Like, I gotta get to the depths. That's why I hate when people be like, oh, you be too deep. No, I'm not being deep. It's just depths to everybody. It's depths to everything. I mean, shit, nobody even knows what's under the ocean.
Yeah, I know.
Half of the ocean ain't even been discovered yet. You
motherfuckers ain't even been 8 miles deep in the ground.
Right.
And you can look under Google statistics for that. Like,
it's just, it's depths to everything. People just don't peel those layers. So I feel like
people don't realize our outer space is really our inner space. Why y'all thinking we left this planet? Yeah, you can.
And people hold that guilt. Like, I don't have no guilt when it comes to my mom. I will still be peaceful. I wouldn't even know what to really say.
I feel guilty. She controlled my grandmother, so I don't go over there and see her.
That's valid, though.
I feel guilty for that. Like, I love my grandmother.
And I understand that's challenging because that's when it becomes a place where you have to be like, okay, now you got to get yourself to a place now where, because I do want you to go see your grandma. Especially if you know, you got everybody always tell me, like, if you know your grandma held you down.
Yeah.
That's one thing I gotta give though when it come to me and mama. I ain't never let nothing stop me from between me and my grandma, bro. We solid.
Yeah.
We straight solid. Like I don't care. Like my grandma can leave today. I'm still not gonna fuck with my mama. Like, it's just that, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of the simple fact, and my mom always try to like. My relationship, it's so wild, and this is the first time I've actually sat and talk about this shit for real. And it feels good because a lot of people don't know the depths of healing. Like, these are all the parts of things that I gotta go through, like try to get my grandma and family
a lot
to
of
understand.
us do too as well. And what took us there was that I've already been in that space. So with you diving just a little bit, I happen to dive as deep.
Right,
and just like fuck it. If we gonna dive, then
we gonna go like and like with my grandma, like, you know. I tell people, for real, my grandma right now is the only person in my family that I really communicate with. Simply for the fact that I'm in a space of my life where I'm trying to build myself up, and my grandma gonna help me do that. You know, she not gonna discourage me. I mean, she gonna always keep it raw and real. You know how grandma's gonna be, like, they gonna tell you the raw and the real. But it's like, she prepares you for whatever. And like, I feel like that's the energy that I need now. Like, my grandma assures me, she supports me, I can talk to her, and most times I don't go to her a lot because, you know, she always trying to help everybody else. So in a way,
you be
people
trying
don't
to take some off the plate.
Yes, people don't understand like how hard it be to see everybody be like, oh my God, your grandma did this for me. And I'd be like, dang, I'm glad she was there for you. But God damn, like I've been needing my grandma sometimes, and I don't want to put that much weight on her. Regardless,
now, she can
I love the
it,
fact, I love the fact that my grandma does what she does and love doing what she does. But then with me, I do, because I already know she's trying to help so many people, I do not want to be a reason why she ain't sleeping that night either. Because I want my grandma to rest. So a lot of things I carry on my own. I have to carry it in the best way I can. People call that strength, and it's just like, nah, I'm just very considerate of my grandmother when it comes to her spiritual world.
Yeah, that's still strength.
I'm looking at her because
some people would be weaker and just break through it. They don't put that shit on somebody else.
I ain't putting that.
Consider and realize, I got a little bit of strength. I could hold off for about a month, and then I'll go up and see her, call her, and drop some on her. Then I might give her a little break. You know what I'm saying?
And that's one thing I always try to do, even when I go through my rough times in life. I get through them, and when I get where I need to be, if things going good and I'm in a good space to where I can talk to her, I just be like, yo, grandma, it's been rough, but I'm doing good. Like, I never try to, I don't want her worrying about me, especially with me wanting to go big in the world. I don't, and I'm preparing myself for that life, because it's like she really prepared me for life in so many ways, and I want to be able to, how I can live without my mom, because there's no attachment. I'm trying to learn how to live without my grandmother.
Yeah,
and then preparing for detaching from her physically. So that's why I don't go to her with a lot of my problems, because spiritually I ain't about to weigh her down, because I'm gonna need her when she ain't going. So I ain't about to burden her spiritual world, because I'm gonna need her for real then.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. I just take those things with it, and then that's how I interpret it with my healing. And that's why it's okay for me to not have a relationship with my mom, because I have a deep attachment with my grandmother. So trying to learn how to detach from somebody and prepare, because it can happen any day. You know what I'm saying? People think like, oh, you shouldn't think. Why not? I got to prepare myself for a mental grief. You know what I'm saying? Like losing something physical. I'm very attached to in this world. So it's like when people say it, I be like, yo, yeah, I'm preparing for any day my grandma not being here. That's why me carrying on her spirit of helping people, I do it in a different way than she does. She does hers in the form of ministry, and I do mine in the form of just being a light and giving back, using my gifts and talents to help amplify, kind of like what you're doing right now. Like you take your pain and you put it in things that help you become a better person. Yeah. So that's just what I've been doing, man.
And that's a good pointer and tip as far as if you don't know how to utilize your dark energy or that other energy, you put that shit into something productive. I don't want to always tell my daughter, hey, you gotta be good, because I know sometimes she want to do the opposite, and I'm like, oh shit, all right, well, at least do it in front of me, that way at least I'll have some kind of, I can kind of guide you a little bit if you want to make a mess, or if you want to do something weird that is not, I don't know, maybe she might want to cut her Barbie's hair or something. She can't cut her Barbie's hair at her mom's house, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I'd rather you organize it in front of me. Go ahead and cut it. I'm just going to clean this shit up anyways. It's material items, toys. We shouldn't be attached to them anyways. You know what I'm saying? You enjoy them.
And I think that's what I'm learning, how to attach to things in more of a spiritual way too. I'm
slowly teaching her all these things subtly, but that comes from me growing and being in this space and constantly being aware.
Oh my God, yes.
It's constantly, consistently. But we've been running this shit the fuck up today. We about to wrap it up, you know what I'm saying? You gotta let everybody know where they can find you at, Aaron.
You can find me on Instagram at Nichelle. And you can follow my project page at Gichi Marley Experience. It's Gichi with the I-E, GEECHIE Marley Experience. I hope I didn't say it with a dialect.
I'll have it down there, but you get used to saying it more now.
And I hope y'all do check out this project. It's really gonna be dope. And shout outs to the
TrakWolf Godcast.
Man.
You already know.
I love this platform. I love it.
We are in the building creating something new, you know what I'm saying? We trying to put it all out there for everybody, we all done been through some shit, you know what I'm saying? So if we all had some toxic shit we've been through, which we all done been through, you know what I'm saying? The least we can do is formulate that shit and be able to give it back to the world in something healthy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to reflect on it and still be in a bad space or have it put me down there. I want to give y'all some tools on what you could use if you in that space or if you near it. You know what I'm saying? Or how to manage through the space. You can't always avoid it. You know what I'm saying? But on that note, we about to wrap it up and get up out of here. I'm your boy TrakBeatz. We got Molly Nichelle, aka Name Nichelle, in the building with us.
Name Nichelle on Facebook though.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna have all that shit down below. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with us. Peace and love.